And welcome back to another episode of Democracy with Argent Characteristics, the Let's Play of Suzerain. So we'll get into it in a minute. I'm just gonna pause to give people a chance to jump on in, and we are trying for the second. I'm trying to do a couple of these because I'm doing a something a bit different. I've got Restream up and running, so I've been. Okay, let's see here. Why is this not working? Check the stream on YouTube. Okay, it is going on YouTube. I don't know, that was weird. I don't know why it was doing that, but yeah, so we are currently doing the next Argent characteristics. Okay. I don't know. Just give me a sec. Let me just check this. Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a professional. I'm a professional streamer. Live streaming is what I do for a living. Okay, for some reason it made it as a separate video, so let me just delete this one. Just turn monetization on. I don't know why it turns monetization off by default. There's no reason for me to do this other than the couple little pennies YouTube throws my way. So, all right, we will get started on this in a minute. I'll see how long I can go. I think there should be a little less reading now that the intro's done, and I'm going to be summarizing kind of what's on screen. Once again, I'm going to be counting on people in the audience to tell me if I'm reading enough, too much, not enough, and we'll try to go from there. But let's see here. All right, is it working on Odyssey? Just trying to figure out if did it load on Odyssey or not. The live streaming on Odyssey seems very finicky, or at least I haven't really been able to figure it out yet. I really hope that they don't that Odyssey doesn't get taken down, because I'm worried about it because the company behind Odyssey went bankrupt. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so so stream. Yes. Oh, that's so annoying. Okay, well, we'll give it a second and then we'll get started on this. Let's see here. Right, let me just make sure everything's on the right page. Edit event. See, is Rumble working? Yes, Rumble is working. And don't worry, I will edit all of this out when we're done. We'll deal with that when it is. Okay. I guess Odyssey's not working. I'll have to figure out how to get Odyssey to work some other time. But that being said, we'll start in a minute. I guess first, we actually have some Ukraine news today. The war continues to go extremely poorly for Ukraine. It seems to be getting worse pretty much by the day at this point in time. We have, what was it called again? Yeah, so we got some shell production numbers. So the U.S. and EU combined produce about 32,155 millimeter shells a month, and Ukraine fires about 5,000 a day. So they produce maybe about 7 days worth of ammunition is about all that they're really able to get at this point in time. So, and that's assuming none of the shells go to Israel. That's assuming none of the shells go to anybody else. but that's where 100% of it go. Okay, I'm just trying to figure out the chat. 'Cause the chat is kind of confuzzling. Okay, how do I get the chat to work? Once again, don't worry. I'm a professional. I'm a professional streamer. Okay. Embed chat. I want to look at my chat. Okay, let me just try this. Okay, it's working in one location but not another. We'll just deal with this as it comes up. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so welcome back to Suzerain. We are going to this time continue on where we left off. And first things first, we have one of the most painful, obnoxious scenes in the entire game, the reception ball, and we're going to meet our wife and kids, who are all kind of insufferable. Okay, so you finish buttoning up your suit jacket, and the doorbell rang. The presidential guard is here to take you away. The ball was a 3-decade-old tradition, breathlessly anticipated by politicians, bureaucrats, and the press. All eyes were about to be on me. I called on Monica to get the children ready. Looking in the mirror, I straightened my tie and took a deep breath. There is no turning back. Suddenly, Dana hugged me from behind, startling me a little. Monica had fixed her hair into an elaborate braid, woven through with ribbons. Papa, Mama told me it's time to go. Tell your mother I will be ready very soon. Okay, Papa, I can't wait to see the palace. It was almost time to leave. The big ball was starting in less than an hour. Now, where's my first lady? Monica came down the stairs. She was wearing a simple yet elegant beige cheese dress and short heels. Her hair had been neatly pinned into a shigan. I don't know what that means. I don't know what hair things are. I'm a male. Her hair had been okay. So yeah, yeah. So your wife is here. How do you do, Mr. President? I'm gonna kiss her hand because that's what people do. Monica, my love, you look as gorgeous as the day we were married. Oh, that's romantic. Now that's the charm that got you elected. Yeah, Rain is kind of a king. There's Frank. Frank is insufferable. He's complaining that his tuxedo itches. I'm glad to have you with us for this big night. Sure, Dad. I'm just dying to go. Your daughter asks, "Are the people going to be around us from now on?" She pointed at the presidential guards. Uh, yes, Swordland's most important family needs additional protection. It's all right, baby. They're here to make sure that uh, nothing bad happens to your papa or his family. Okay, Monica held Dina's hand, together flanked by presidential guards. We walked out the door. Halfway to the car, Frank stopped abruptly and turned towards me. Dad, do I really have to go? Couldn't I stay home instead? Um, okay, I'll do. This is Eastern Europe slash Turkey, so I'll give the Eastern European slash Turkish answer. You'll love it, son. I'm sure there'll be plenty of pretty girls to dance with. All of them will be wanting you to impregnate them because your father's the president. There's even time in between all the boring speeches. I guess I have no choice. Got that over with, Frank? Let's go. The car is waiting for us. Yes, Serge! Serge is back. I was thinking we've come a long way together, haven't we? Yes, we have, and there's still so much we'll accomplish side by side, dear. Just remember, know what happens. The children and I will always be here for you. That is such a lie. Depending on the decisions you make, Monica can divorce you, which I would do if I wasn't Catholic and against divorce, because Monica is kind of, yeah, we'll see. I'm going to help Papa fix everything. Frank rolled his eyes. I know you will, honey. That means a great deal to me. Oh, isn't this awesome? It's just like family togetherness. Let's see here. Serge rolls down the limousine soundproof partition. Right here, sir. Hope you enjoyed the drive. I did, Serge. Thank you. Oh, it was a pleasure to hear that. Serge opened the door for me, and we went into the palace. The creme de la creme of Swordland elite is inside of the building. Good luck out there, Mr. President. I'll see you on the trip home. Serge is just such a nice dude. I love Serge. We're gonna help him out major later. We're gonna pay for his kids' education because if anyone deserves to have their kids' education paid for, it's Serge. I stepped out and immediately found myself surrounded by loud voices and camera flashes. Hordes of eager journalists came after me. My guard fended most of them off, but one woman managed to dodge them and corner me. I recognized the Swordish Broadcasting Company logo on her pressed lanyard. Mr. President, do you plan on working together with the opposition parties on the expected constitutional reforms? Yeah, okay, so to be fair to Monica, like most of the feminist stuff she wants is pretty reasonable in my opinion. Like I unironically passed the Women's Liberation Act, which I get is cringe, but it's literally like criminalizing domestic abuse, paid maternity leave, and like a couple other like women like are allowed to participate in normal school courses. It's like the most like milk toast stuff. So I actually do sign it. I don't find anything about it particularly objectionable. So it's really not that bad. I'm just kind of memeing. Do you plan on working together with the opposition if the opposition is willing to support us? Mr. Richter clarified that as long as you support their demands of democratization, there's going to be no democratization. They will work with you on all issues with a cooperative spirit. What do you think of that statement? We want other parties to join him in this endeavor. One more question. One of your first acts as president was to sign a campaign finance law allocating public election funds by the seats in the assembly as opposed to number of votes. Oh, so that's what it did. Okay. And there's a threshold. So because any party that gets less than 10 votes, um, any party that gets less than 10% of the vote doesn't get seats. Um, they get no seats, so they get no funding. Is this a deliberate attempt to defund the Communist Party and the Bloodia Workers' Party? Once again, it's called the Kurdish Workers' Party, so the Bloods are a clear parallel with the Kurds. Let's see here. It was agreed on by the majority of the GNA. I couldn't use my veto on the first day. That is an awesome non-answer. Um, so just answering John, not real name, because a lot of this is exploring the political issues. It makes no sense to me as a thing in itself. Why should employers continue to employ someone who is having a child? But it is good as it helps the child and keeps the mother at home. So I think the government should pay for it, or at least provide subsidies to the employer. I've decided I'm in favor of it because it's something that would actually help, like the non-degenerate members of society, like evangelical Christians or Catholics whose mother, like the mother, has to work. I'd much rather them get the money than like some drug addicts. Um, so let's see. Fireworks went off. We entered the lobby and joined the throngs of people making their way towards the ballroom. Let's see here. I found myself face to face with a towering figure, Remus Holstrom, the Iron Wall, former young sword and stalwart of the National Front Party. Doesn't he look fashy? He looks pretty fashy. I'm not gonna lie. The National Front. The National Front is a nationalist, ultra conservative political party in Swordland, which is currently the second biggest opposition party. It is led by Kibner. So it was founded by a group of nationalists. Um, yeah. It's perceived as an extremist party, but its views have been moderated by this dude. He leveled a steel gaze at me and then broke into a smile. President Rain, you have no idea how happy it makes me to see a fellow young sword at the Maroon Palace. Um, let's see here. Almost as happy as it makes me to see a fellow young sword at this ball. From street balls and gen to handshakes at the Maroon Palace. My time in the Young Swords taught me a lot about the true spirit of this nation. You too, I bet. Think of Swordland like a piece of iron forged in fire, strengthened by the flame of dedication and the hammer of order. Fucking based. Let's see here. Nicely put. Nicely put. Our shared past and values will help us in forging a strong Swordland. I hope so. The weakling Alfonso knew nothing about the true nature of leadership. I heard about your promise to tighten Swordland's immigration laws, by the way. I'm glad you are concerned about preserving our nation's identity as I am. Based. I appreciate your work together. We will help to preserve Swordish identity. Either way, it looks like both of us have a busy term ahead of us. I've got a series of bills I'm working on to address the friction in our society by repressing minorities. But tonight's a celebration, right? Time to show off all the establishment politicians. Time to show all the establishment politicians in the palace how a real patriot lets loose. I love Holstrand. We have a lot of work to do, Mr. Holstrand. I look forward to seeing your proposals. Good evening. One swordland, one nation, one future. Okay. Uh, Still stirring within Swordland, he offered a potent reminder of the complexities and divisions that we would need to navigate in the days to come. Behind me, I hear a familiar voice. There they are, the most beautiful family in Swordland. Uncle Peter. Hi, Uncle Peter. It's great to see you. You two are growing faster than I'm growing wiser. Uh, Mr. Vice President, Mr. President. Happy to see a familiar face, Peter. Evelyn. Peter's wife, Evelyn, who I feel really bad for, um, to be honest. Having to be married to Peter. Oh, okay. Looking at this, she was expelled from the newspaper she worked at after defending Alfonso and writing about a conspiracy by the deep state. In 1953, she quit her job to support Peter's candidacy as the running mate of Anton Rain. Congratulations, Anton. I have to say the results were clear to me from the beginning. Appreciate it, Evelyn. It means a lot. The pleasure is mine. I think it's time to celebrate this victory. Exactly, that's why we're here. Let's get drunk. Monica, how are you? You barely said a word. I am more relieved to have this roller coaster ride over with, but of course now the real work begins. So someone in the chat asks, you went with the young sword path, are the National Front or whatever solist or not? Um, so if we had a political spectrum, the communists would be like a one on the political spectrum. Uh, The National Front would be like an 8, and the Solace would be like a 6 or something like that. The Solace are conservatives and they're authoritarian, and they support a state run economy, but their primary concern above all else is social order. They endorse a specifically civic type of nationalism, whereas the National Front is more ethno nationalist. They talk about purple blood periodically. The National Front admires Colonel Sol, but thinks it's time to move on. They also tend to be more capitalistic than the Orthodox Solists. Don't be so old fashioned, Evelyn. I plan to use my power as First Lady of Sword to advance the position of women throughout Swordland. Equal rights for our sex are long overdue, wouldn't you say, Anton? So I could say a couple things here. Is it possible to be socially national front but economically socialist? Uh, yeah, like you aren't a pure ideologue in this. Most of the things that you would do for the National Front, like tightening education, enacting a police state, crushing the Bloods, tend to be more like that. Um, they're very ideologically similar. It's mostly just the National Front is a bit more extreme, and they're more capitalistic. And they like a lot of soulism is um let's see here. Up to a point they must okay, so I can say as long as you don't burn the roast, up to a point, yes, they mustn't neglect their responsibilities to their husbands and families. I'm gonna go with the non-answer. That's my wife, never content to just be a pretty face. Monica flashed a smile. Papa, can we go? I want to see the ballroom. Of course, darling. Move to the ballroom. Outside, we were yet again surrounded by a noisy crowd, but this time it was the politicians who sought to appease the new authority in Swordland. Let me know if you can hear me okay. I'm just speaking a little quieter and closer to the mic, just to try to kind of save my voice. Okay, so just talking to people, bands making speeches, Peter's complaining that he's tired. We have to get used to it. Well, suddenly a loud banging noise echoed from the room outside, then another one and another. The musicians stopped playing. Everyone in the room was looking around in confusion. Peter and I turned towards each other, realization dawning on both of our faces. Fireworks? No, gunshots. As soon as Monica heard the word, she lunged from her seat. I'm going to shield Monica and the kids because I'm a Chad. I threw myself on my family to shield them. Papa, what's happening? I knew it. We never should have gone. Oh, okay. Let me turn up the. I'm always worried about the music being too loud. Because the music's. I just don't want to get copyright strikes. Um, is it just not playing at all? 1 sec. Let me just check. Yeah. So we are current. No, it should be going. Okay. Uh, I'll turn up the music if it's not playing properly. 3 more gunshots rang out loudly. Mr. President, are you all right? Carl, head of the Swedish police force, was running towards us with 3 more police officers in decorated uniforms. They all had their guns drawn. As soon as he made it to us and saw that we were unharmed, he let out a big sigh of relief. Thank God. Status report. 1 second, Mr. President. He turned quickly to his men. Check the perimeter now. Let's see. Paul, Jensen, follow my lead. We will bring them to the safe room. Okay, the nice policeman is telling us to follow him through the building. Peter, what a fucking night. It's not over yet. Quiet, please. Sorry, I talk when I get nervous. Peter, shut up. Okay, so there's a hidden staircase, so we're gonna go down to the panic room. Okay. Uh, what's the status? He turned to us. Good news, we're not in any danger at the moment. The situation has been dealt with, and the perimeter has been secured by the guards and the police. He glanced towards Monica, Evelyn, and the kids. If I may, sir. He gestured towards a more private corner of the room and started speaking more quietly. We have confirmed that two people were gunned down in front of the palace. The attacker is one of them, and we have reasons to believe he was working alone. Yeah, because there's no deep state, there's no like communist party, there's no like nationalist militias in this country, there's no separatist movements. Obviously, it was a lone wolf. He fired three shots at an MP, one to the head, two to the body, instantly killing him. Let's see here. Presidential guards immediately shot and killed the attacker. Yeah, I bet they did. The MP was identified as Bernard Serkis, who is a communist author. This is huge, Anton. This could cause a lot of problems. A lot of. Okay, if people don't like that I'm doing spoilers, just let me know. Because I can understand why people don't want me to do spoilers for this. You don't like that I'm referencing like what actually is happening here, then just let me know. I'm probably not going to do multiple playthroughs of this, so get the content going. Monica was still trying to tend to Dana as Frank paced the room, mumbling about how he should have stayed home. Kate comfort Monica and the kids. Nothing like this will ever happen again. We can't be sure of anything anymore, Anton. Okay, at all costs. I crushed the cigarette in the ashtray. Emergency meeting. The mood in the situation room was gloomy. See, we talked about last time. We do have a couple cute members of the cabinet. They just happen to be the left wing ones. Let's see here. Knowing what I know now makes this whole thing a lot more thing. Bernard Surcass was shot dead at 9:03 in front of the palace gates. He was an elected independent member of the assembly and, as you know, a famous communist. She spat out the last word with some distaste. Based. The guards at the scene were 50 meters away. Okay, so it was a member of the Young Swords. The president and his family were unharmed. Praise God. Let's see here. An MP shot near the palace. This is absolutely unacceptable. I agree. We are reevaluating our security measures. However, the recession affected my ministry negatively. That is a cope, Graph. That is a cope. We should not be having these people. Well, Fianna Fáil is like super left wing now on social issues. This may well create a dangerous atmosphere where the left versus right political violence of the 1920s could spark once again. A return to those days would be devastating. The coups are the reason why our country stagnated for a decade. Nia Morgan, the justice minister, sighed. The Red Youth has condemned the killing but didn't stop there. They promised revenge. They will in turn spark further aggression from the Young Swords. The whole cycle started because Bernard expressed his views. We can't simply look away. Yeah, it was based. They killed the communists. Nia has always been the only member of the Justice Ministry truly deserving of the name. She had survived countless attacks on her character while fighting corruption with the ministry, and rising to power had only compounded her sense of moral duty. Now, one of the things I like about this game is the characters are Um, like they're like real characters. So Nia is like a liberal with communist sympathies, but there are a lot of like sympathetic things about her. She legitimately wants to clear out, like, improve law enforcement. She legitimately wants to crack down on corruption. Um, so despite being kind of a liberal, there's a lot of sympathetic things about her. Meanwhile, with Lilith Graff, despite her being a religious social conservative, I find her a very unlikable person. So I actually think that's a sign of the game's strength, that you can like characters you politically disagree with and dislike characters you politically agree with. Freedom of expression is part of our constitution. We can't have anyone let an MP shot for voicing different opinions. Okay. We should protect. We're going to pretend we're going to protect freedom of speech. We're not, though. Our laws do it for good reasons. Silencing voices only results in fear and stagnation inside society. We had that before. We know very well how it was. I hear your concerns. Okay. Iosif Lancia. He looks like a pig, doesn't he? I mean, I love Iosif, but okay. Or Gendarme will help boost security in rural areas where possible. There might be more violence to come. We should refrain from making the issue a political one from the start. It will only add fuel to the fire. Yeah, Lucian is very good at politics. 1 second. Just what are we? So just gonna share that there. I'm just gonna check the comment section. Nope, don't have comments on any other platform. You're right. We need to defuse the situation. Okay, so we're gonna defuse the situation. They're gonna investigate. Good. Internal stability must be maintained, or security funding might need to be increased. Okay. All right. We can't fix the recession if there isn't stability. We need to trust our ministers to stabilize the situation if it comes to it. Okay. Once again, I think this game has really good writing. It has some of the best like political writing I've ever seen. The more I play this game, the more I kind of appreciate it. Okay, security briefing on the threats against Swordland. Okay, all right. So we have the okay. So Lilith, just to go over it again, is Minister of the Interior. Nia is Minister of Justice, and Iosif is the is the Minister of Defense. Kruger, however, is the Chief of Staff, which is kind of confusing because Chief of the Armed Forces and Minister of Defense are kind of similar, as is Interior and Justice. Let's begin. Okay, we'll kick off today's meeting with the internal security briefing. All right. Okay, so we're just going to skip ahead. The political atmosphere has worsened. The reports around the country indicate the tensions are rising as we feared. What is the status of the investigation? Okay, investigation is concluded. What happened? We have confirmed the motive and also the events leading up to the shooting. A few days prior, members of the Red Youth initiated a violent attack on the Young Sword local leader in Gen. We believe the Young Swords then called for revenge, leading to the death of Mr. Circus. I like the Young Sword organization logo. It's the swordish goat. Let's see here. I'm just gonna once again. A lot of what I'm saying in this game is to try to maintain good relations with people is not necessarily what I think. Political violence needs to stop now. Yes, we've kept it at bay for so long, but it seems there are now new triggers. Okay. The investigation revealed the very troubling fact. The funding of the Red Youth has a clear link to Kantana. Are you sure? Yes, we found the cash trail. Several Red Youth members with ties to Kantana have been detained, and the information extracted for them points to a preparation for a communist uprising in Swordland. I'm gonna have to press X to doubt on this one. Communists are not particularly strong in Swordland. The nationalists are strong and the Bloods are strong, but I don't think the communists really get that many votes in the election. So, as you may have noticed, of the two opposition parties, the People's Justice and Freedom Party, the Liberal Party, is backed by Arcasia, and the Red Youth is back, and the communists are backed by Kantana because it's the Cold War. Okay. It is unusual. This sounds a little far fetched. The left lacks popular support in Swordland. Yeah, I think that was kind of the case in Turkey as well. I don't think left wing parties ever really got that much. I mean, it depends how you want to count Kemalism and how you want to count the People's Republican Party. If you want to say that's a left wing party or a centrist party or a syncretic party, but I don't think the far left has ever really had much of a sway in Turkey. Let's see, it's wrong to jump to conclusions about a clear foreign interference yet. Kantana has humanitarian culture ties with many countries, including Swordland. Uh, I don't want to jump to conclusions immediately. We shouldn't create a crisis. Nearly 3 decades ago, they funded General Rickard and tried to establish a communist dictatorship in this country. If it was not for Colonel Sol, we would not have seen the right. We would have seen the real crisis. Lilith is like the way she just jerks off Colonel Sol at every opportunity is really insufferable. Our police chief. Okay, so it's okay. Okay, we need to remain vigilant. Um, I kind of it's interesting how they portrayed conservatives in this because I think it is kind of accurate. A lot of the conservatives really don't have a political ideology beyond preserving the status quo and being unconditionally loyal to Colonel Sol, which is kind of like how they are with regards to Ronald Reagan. They're just unconditionally loyal to the legacy of Ronald Reagan and preserving like liberal. They're like liberals from the '60s, rather than having kind of any positive vision for how society should function. Okay. Okay, we have the most insufferable moment in the entire game. Okay, so Lilith said, let's not forget Colonel Sol, God bless him, brought stability after a long period of bloodshed and chaos, but moving on. Okay, our highest internal threat comes from the S. Oh no, okay, so it's not yet. Because at one point Lilith says, like, God bless Colonel Sol or God bless Swordland. And, like, Nia, like, is like, can we keep this conversation secular? So you have the Bloodish Freedom Front. Okay. Are they cooperating with any Bloodish political organizations? Many suspected links exist between the Bloodish Freedom Front and the Workers' Party of Bloodia, but we don't have concrete proof yet. Despite the fact that they're both communist organizations that support Bloodish independence, and they have the same people, and they're clearly the same thing. Okay, our intelligence intercepted 2 crates filled with weapons close to the Rumburg border. They were filled with military grade KA-74s. I wonder what a KA-74 is. I mean, this is the 50s, so it's obviously an AK-47, but an AK-74 is also a thing. Um, Most rifles, to my knowledge, that are used by countries that use Kalashnikov platforms use AK-74s at this point in time. I don't know how much AK-47s are really even used anymore. We expect that more have been smuggled in. A group of Bloods was caught with these guns at the checkpoint not far away. The governor of Bergia, Felix Braun, is already taking the necessary measures to counter this threat. Rumberg has been acting aggressively in the region for a long time. I'm not surprised they would attempt to weaponize the Bloodish people against us. Yeah, having played this game through a couple times, it makes me appreciate what a den of vipers I'm surrounded by, because everyone's somewhat telling the truth and somewhat lying to you. This is worrying, very worrying. Let's see here. I'm gonna say we need to keep a level head. We need to keep level-headed with Rumberg. They are looking for reasons to take action. So Rumberg has nuclear weapons, as we'll find out later, and I think it has 2 to 3 times the population of Swordland and a much bigger economy. So there's really no reason to try to pursue a war with them, because there's just no way really to win it. You can technically beat them in a war if you get allies and you like spend a ton of money to upgrade your military, but we aren't going to be doing that because I want to try to save the recession. They will play dirty while we play nice. It's a battle we will lose. We must be careful not to stroke the fires of anti-bloodist sentiment. Um, Unfortunately, Governor Braun is directly causing the tension to increase with his increasingly anti-bloodist stance. Okay, all right. So the governor is kind of an asshole. So Swordland is a unitary system, because there's no, it's like Turkey. There's no provincial governments. Governors are directly, I believe, they're directly appointed from the by the president. Um, no, you can negotiate with the Bloods. You can negotiate with them. You can reconcile with them by setting up like a semi-autonomous zone for them. Let's see here. Yeah, so sorry. So Bloodia is a special administrative zone where civil rights don't apply. Tell me more about the special zone. As you know, Bergia was given a special status by Seoul after the full-scale uprising by the BFF against the Swedish government in 35. Those couple years were disastrous. The BFF declared war on us, openly attacked our people, and occupied entire cities. It was a massive uprising. The longest time they were in control of a city was 2 weeks. I wouldn't call that an occupation. Okay, so we're just gonna cut through this because they're just kind of repeating things at this point. So we must reverse this situation. It's absurd the Ministry of the Interior doesn't have control over Bergia. Okay, talk later. Second most important threat. There's some crime families. Okay. I want them eliminated. Okay. We'll keep the promise. Okay. Okay. Corruption is the root of all evil. How does he not know anything about the country? Because you, as the player, don't know anything about the country. Okay, once the weapons have been found and the gangs have been beaten, Just like the previous administrations kicking the can down the road, that is what's destroying our institutions. They're scowling at each other. Well, this concludes the topics for the internal portion. Thank you for the updates. Thanks for the overview. Have a good day. Until next time. Okay, upon invitation, okay, so we have the armed forces. Let's begin. Okay. Sorry, this part's just, there's nothing particularly interesting going on. They're just talking about the situation on the border is intense. Rumberg has been acting increasingly expansionist in the past decades and has also interfered in Agnolia, but now they have turned their sights on us. I trust the capacity of our armed forces. We don't have unlimited resources. Okay. Mr. President, if I may, please, General. Let's see here. Weapon caches. There's a military buildup on the borders. Um, I have trust in the general staff. Require an increase in the military budget to enlist more soldiers. Uh, so Iosif wants to improve the army by increasing better training, better soldiers, better equipment, and Kruger just wants to throw bodies at it. Okay. Times are changing and the worst coming, Mr. President. Whether we like it or not, we must be prepared. Okay, the future of Swordland is. Uh, okay. We will see. Okay. Rumberg wouldn't attack any nation allied with a superpower. One shudders at the sacrifices that would require us to make. Yes, but what is difference between losing your independence to one or the other? Dude, it's not like that bad. Literally all that Arkesia asks of you is that you like let them station your planes in Swordland. Okay. There has been Roombergian military activity close to the border. I just spoke with the local commander. Velkin, we should get to the ministry and get further updates from our branches. Understood. Raising military readiness is the first call of action. Let's see here. 1 second. Sorry, I just have to. Uh, we'll wait for further orders. Remain calm. Make sure not to escalate things further. No one wants a war. So I like one of the things I like about Yosef is like he's not retarded. So when you tell him stuff like we don't want a war, don't do anything stupid, he actually will listen to you and he'll be like, okay, that makes sense. If we have to go to war, we have to go to war. But Rain makes sense when he's telling us to not like be retarded and try to bait a larger army into a war. Hail Swordland. They saluted and left the room. Okay. Swordland has always been a key piece in the chessboard of the global rivalries between communists and capitalists, but in the recent years there was no such aggression from Rumberg. Yeah, so Rumberg is huge. The phone rang. Rumberg had decided to close their consulate. Okay, so all right, so we have lack of allies. Rumberg expansionism, diplomatic pressure, foreign energy influence. I have good diplomats, so that's something. Let's see. Order. Yeah, order is a like the country's kind of a mess at the moment. Yeah, look at how big Rumberg is. Rumberg is massive compared to Swordland, Agnolia. Where is Where's Arcasia? Or is Arcasia even on this map? I don't think Arcasia is even on this map. Uh, okay, dinner at home with the family. Oh, this is so boring. I hate these scenes. There's my princess. Where is your mother? Okay, Mama's in the kitchen making dinner where she should be. Okay, Papa or the bad man gone. It was only one bad man, Dana, and he's gone now. Okay, Papa. Dana dashed down the hallway. Okay, Mama, Papa's here. Monica appeared next to the kitchen door. She was wearing an apron and holding a spatula. Okay, just talking about the daughter. How was your day, dear? Terrific. I got to do some grocery shopping just like old times, and I'm making your favorite. That's nice. You mean Lorsh Lorsha? I have no idea what that is. Lorsha special occasions a rich seafood stew served with heady garlic and paprika kick. It sounds tasty. I don't really like seafood though much myself. It was my favorite dish, especially paired with cabbage, a potent unfiltered wine from Bergia. Kiss her on the cheek. I just wanted to cheer up everyone, especially of what happened. I'm worried. They're hungry. Okay, tell Frank to come down. Loud rock and roll music echoed down the hallway from his room. I caught the faint hint of cigarette smoke. Opened the door. The door was locked. Frank turned down this racket and opened the door. The stereo in Frank's room. Okay, I'm just going to skip through some of this. It's just so boring. Okay, I'm going to give the sarcastic response. Turn the records up louder next time, won't you? I don't think the neighbors heard. Okay, so they're going to go downstairs. We're going to eat dinner together. Monica's like, imagine if you were president for 20 years. Uh, I'm going to just appease her. I don't want the country to suffer under another soul. Agreed, that must never happen again. He threw in some extra vegetables. Frank suddenly slammed his hands on the table. So that's how it's going to be. We're just going to sit here like nothing happened. Dad, you could have been killed. Mom, you could have been killed. Any one of us could have died. Monica put her hand on Frank's shoulder. Um, Frank, you know I never let anything happen to the family. Could you at least tell me something's been done about this? My security assured me they've taken the necessary steps. The same security that let a person get shot in front of the palace. Yeah, that's a pretty good point there, Frank. I think we are going to have to do some investigations. If your father says we don't need to worry, we don't need to worry. Well, I appreciate that, Monica. I think the deep state. I think with the deep state the way it is, it's yeah, we have to worry. Okay, trust in him. We all have to trust in each other. Okay, Anton, he is still young. I know, but I made that worries me. I made plenty of rash decisions when I was his age. You make plenty of rash decisions now too, blown out. Frank's not the only one who's scared, Anton. Okay, I'll tell you if there's any threat to the family. Okay, time would tell. Okay, decision to address the instability in the nation. So I have some choices in how to react to it. So I am going to go with visit affected towns in person. So I think that gives you the biggest benefit to public stability. Okay, end of the day at the Maroon Palace. Let's see here. Exhausting day. I'm going to prepare to go home. Okay. Surge and the guards were outside by the main gate as usual. My secretary entered. Mr. President, Mr. Tusk is here to see you. You had a meeting with the Lotherberg spokesman. I'm so sorry for not giving you proper notice. Yeah, good job. Uh, do your job properly next time. It'll never happen again, Mr. President. Mr. Tusk swaggered into the room, but never alone. He has large jowls, blindingly shiny shoes, and the air of someone who's used to getting his way. Anything to drink, Mr. Tusk, water, whiskey, cognac, preferably before you were born, sweetheart. What a what a douche. I'll check the supply room. Okay, let's see here. Good evening, Mr. President. I'm here to congratulate you. We both sat down. My business partners and I wish a successful term as the leader of our nation. Thank you, Mr. Tusk. I had no chance to say this at the ball with all the panic, but we are very much looking forward to working with you. Likewise. I'd like to build a profitable relationship between us. That being said, there are some concerns of mine and the people I represent, which I would like to take the opportunity to clear up. Okay? The people you represent. I represent the Lotherberg group, Mr. President. Okay, the ruined state of the economy in Swordland has influenced everyone. The recession has hit all of us hard. I bought these cigars from Lesbia, the best cigars in the whole continent. Would you like to try one? Sure. Okay. Let's see here. I heard you purchased stock from Armadine Industries in Arcasia Smart. Buy. They're developing new gadgets that are going to be profitable. Okay. I figured why not take the chance? It's much worse to live with regret and what ifs. Okay, all right. Okay, we can be close allies. The group can help you get Swordland out of the recession, which will be the key problem to solve in your term and could even determine your reelection. So he's basically just saying here that like there's this secret group of people called the Lotherberg group who controls the organization, who controls the economy in Swordland, and that they have the ability to use their international connections to immediately end the recession. This sounds kind of familiar. Case in the investment project contract will be awarded to one of the three main contenders. My personal bank dealers, 6 months of a president's salary. Okay, so the secretary's spying on us. Okay. So let me think. What am I gonna do here? So I can take the bribe and then not deliver to him. I think I'm gonna go with that. We both know you can do better than that. You're right. I'll make my final offer. I accept the offer. Okay, that deal aligns with the free market strategy your government has it decided. Okay. Okay, so I accepted the bribe. I am not going to give him the contract, though. I need the money for some stuff that's going to happen later. So we're going to meet with Marcel Cronty. Fortunately, he controls the entire media in Swordland. So Tusk has no way to get back at me because the media won't publish the story. You can just not take the bribe. I'm not forming the anti. You know what? Yeah, I'm just gonna reload. You're right. I shouldn't take that bribe. If I'm gonna go down the anti-corruption police route, which I think I am, to try to deal with the deep state, then I will. Wait, what? To the checkpoint. Okay. All right, guys. I'm just gonna skip through this. I could form the secret police. Yeah, I guess I could form the secret police. The anti-corruption police are useful though for taking down the what are they called again? The old guard. I think what I'll do is I'll just refuse the bribe. So I don't want to be in Tusk's. Yeah. I'm just gonna skip through this. Thank you. Likewise, carry on listening. Okay. Thank you for your visit nonetheless. Okay. Please say hello to Mr. Cronty for me. Okay, so he knows I'm meeting Mr. Cronty. I'm going to tell her how can you do that. Okay, I most certainly am not. All right, so we're going to meet Mr. Cronty. I think I'm going to try secret police. I normally go anti-corruption police, but I'm going to go secret police this time, I think. Our motorcade headed to the meeting location. Okay. I'd only have my most confidential and trustworthy team members with me. We have Surge. There shortly. Lucien and Peter. Okay, the location is very remote indeed. It's a very exclusive country club for people who value their privacy. Okay, after opening the marble engraved door, we were greeted by two tall women. The receptionist led us to the meeting room upstairs. A man of culture, I see. I feel Marcel looks like a Bond villain. Like, doesn't he look like a Bond villain? He does to me, at least. He was a strikingly handsome man with well groomed hair. He walked towards me and reached out with a handshake. He had a firm grip. Okay. The other thing I like about Karanti is he's actually like polite. Walter Tusk is just kind of a dick. Karanti actually has like impeccable manners. Okay, yes, there is much to discuss. Believe it or not, I've been a secret admirer of your political success. I find your quick rise to power was shockingly well executed. So there's some speculation that he had his father whacked, um, and that was the reason he conveniently, his father conveniently died at the same time that you got elected to office, and that he it's part of his big power play to get you to support him in his bid to become the head of the oligarchy. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but it's an interesting theory. Okay. Important thing is that they are sound and safe. Okay, no family should suffer from tragedy ever again. We've had enough of that. I'm known to be a straightforward person, so let me get to the point without wasting your valuable time. I don't know if he has mob ties or not. I mean, there's any number of people that he could have used, but I actually like seriously have no idea. I haven't gotten to that part in it. Okay, there's a painting. Okay, um, I think there's some symbolism there. I don't feel like reading that though. I will transform this nation, Mr. Rain. My conglomerate has ways of doing things, and I don't want them to change, so I want to cooperate with you. The intent is mutual. You might have the people's support now, Mr. President, but what happens when you make mistakes? Everybody makes mistakes. What is that supposed to mean? Let's hear his point, Vice President. Being a president in this country means having many enemies, enemies that would resort to anything to bring you down. Let's say these enemies cause a scandal or leak sensitive information from the administration. These would be destructive when they were released. If they were released. I see you're getting at. You knew that a long time before you came here. Let's hear your offer. I want two things. Number one is a guarantee from you that the administration won't meddle in the heart of Soarland affairs, no matter what happens. Okay, that's fine with me. Number two is a simple gentleman's favor for the future. Let me prove my service to you first, and I'm sure you won't disapprove when the time comes. Okay, that is an interesting proposal. The media will be on your side, strengthening your position. It will also protect my business operations throughout the changes the country will see. Okay, we have a deal. Happy to hear that. You may contact me personally through this number. As soon as you know that the story will break, please call me and it will be taken care of. Based. Okay, a deal is a deal. We will meet again soon. Okay. Well, situation updated, media bias. The media in Switzerland is facing a significant challenge due to the organized interference from both the state and private organizations. This narrative has been aimed at controlling the narrative. This interference has been aimed at controlling the narrative and shaping public opinion in favor of specific agendas. Okay, so we have the economic relief plan. Uh, so I can either provide stimulus checks for people or bail out businesses. So I'm going to go with the. I think I'll bail out the businesses this time. Okay. Finalization of the L1 railway project. Okay. Thank you for arranging this opportunity. He's just talking about the investment opportunity I took earlier on. Let's see here. Oh right, it's Spurgman. I love Simon. Simon's based. We move on to discuss the details of the L1 railway project. I came by train yesterday. It was a little uncomfortable. Besides starting our economic recovery, this project will make journey here even more pleasant, Mr. President. Okay, so I trust your economic plans, Simon. Um, so I like Simon. Gus is really sleazy, but he is a competent businessman. Okay, all right. Failure in this project is not an option. So, just to kind of summarize what was happening, is I decided to build a railway, a high-speed railway linking the biggest cities in Swordland. The idea being to, try to get the different, employing a bunch of people to build the railroad. Also, it'll help speed up industry. Okay, so we have three different corporations. So the Sorter State Corporation is the government corporation. Um, I might have edited the save file to give myself a bit more money. That may or may not have happened. Anyways, the Sorter State Corporation is government run. If I was doing a planned economy, that would be, I think you get it. It's cheaper that way. They are incompetent and they always get it done. Underhill Construction is owned by Walter Tusk, and it gets it done in time. But it's 6 out of 10. It costs money. Taurus Holding is an innovative company from Arkesia that uses uh, yeah. Why should we pick Taurus? It would fit our election promises of switching to a free market economy. Okay, so they are slightly faster and cheaper. It won several awards internationally for being one of the fastest growing and advanced companies. Okay, all right. So they are innovative. We're going to go with them. I've settled on Taurus Holding. Good. We are staying consistent to our economic strategy. Okay, fix the glasses. It will be awarded to Taurus Holding. At the end of the day, the success of the project is what matters. I think Gus wanted you to go with his buddies. Okay, I think we're off to a good start. Okay, so sometime next year we will have it done. Right, thank you. Okay, there. Okay, so I'm going to go to the funeral of the communist leader. I'm going to attend the funeral. Now, obviously, we're going to be crushing the commies later in this playthrough, but I'm going to play nice for now. Dark clouds were looming over Dare. They looked daunting as our convoy started approaching the century old cemetery. Okay, it was going to rain. All right. Sir, we have arrived. Raindrops were running down the car window when Serg opened the door and held an umbrella over my head. As soon as I got out, flashes from the cameras blinded me. Thank you, Serge. It's my duty, sir. He silently started following me while holding the umbrella. What a king. I love Serg. Peter and Carl exited from their own cars. Okay, we're just going to go on. Mr. President. Okay. All right. Absolutely not, Mr. President. The same mistakes will never happen again. I personally made sure of that. Yeah, like last time. I'm sure the same mistakes aren't going to happen again. Okay, and trust me, Carl, you don't want that. Okay, Peter, lower your voice. You shouldn't be laughing at a funeral, even if it is funny that a commie got killed. We have a small problem, sir. A few, five to be exact, Red Youth members are here to attend the funeral. They said they apparently wish to pay respects to their fallen comrade. Should we let them in? I'll just let them in. Okay. Okay, religious ceremony was done. I was invited by the priest that took the speech. Today we are mourning Bernard Circus, a father, a husband, and a loyal servant of this country. They seemed ruly and respectfully bowing their heads. There's complete silence except for the sound of raindrops. I will confess I disagreed with Bernard Circus almost entirely, but that doesn't mean he deserved this. Our country can be a better place. Circus had a dream of a unified Swordland. In these next months, we need to fulfill the dream and band together. Let us mourn the passing of Bernard Circus and remember him well. I would like to read one of the poems he left to us. Our only strength is the will to survive, knowing that we will perish, knowing nothing more absolute. Thank you. Some attendees started clapping, some crying. The coffin was lowered into the ground. As I bid farewell to Bernard, I want to close with the words every sword lives by. Victory is close. Everyone replied. Okay. The widow thanked me with a soft and defeated voice. Okay. That was a good speech. A briefing on the current diplomatic situation. Geez, it takes a really long time to get into the actual thing. I haven't even started funding the ministries yet. The door opened, and David wished he once a lecture to me. Now the Minister of Foreign Affairs gently made his way to my desk. I love David. He's such a nice dude. May I sit down, Mr. President? Leave the formalities aside. Please take a seat. All right, Anton, I'm used to titles. Diplomacy jobs train oneself. He slowly sat down, taking care not to aggravate the arthritis in his knees. Okay. All right. Look at you, Anton, the fourth president of Swordland. What a privilege for me. I still remember the first day you took my class at Holsard State University. Somehow the inexplicable ebb and flow of life has led us here to positions where we can change the course of history. Let's see here. Everything happens for a reason, David. It was meant to be. Maybe, maybe not. I don't believe in destiny, but sometimes it feels convenient to do so. Okay. All right. Tourism and culture. I don't think I'm gonna support the tourism bill just because it's extra money and I don't and I'm gonna be like turning Swordland into a police state, so people aren't gonna come. Would you like some tea or water? Oh yes, please. Tea and water sound nice. Thank you very much. I think that the Turks drink the most tea in the world. Something I think people don't really like think of is Russia. Russians drink a lot of tea. Like Russia is one of the top tea consuming countries in the world. I think it's sixth or seventh. Russians, I think, actually drink more tea on average than the Chinese do. Okay. Uh, let's see. Has your niece started going to kindergarten yet? Yes, she has. Spending time with my wife makes me happy. There's still so much. Oh no, spending time with my niece makes me happy. There's still much time of her life, much ahead of her in life. Wow. I sometimes wish Catherine and I had children, but that ship sailed long ago. How's the Rain family? Frank never liked the spotlight, so that hasn't changed. As time passes, I realize it more. Family is the most important thing in life. We must take care of them. Okay, Yosef and Lucian come in. Talk more later. Let's begin. Okay, I'd like to hear about Agnolia. Our brotherly nation to our northeast, Agnolia, they are diplomatically non-aligned and probably have one of the most democratic, lame systems between our neighbors. Epi- Economic stagnation is a worry for them. Their primary issue is the heavy reliance on foreign investment from us. Agnolia is our most friendly neighbor, We've been allies for the longest time after Roomberg annexed Dom. The fact needs to be part of the equation. Let's see here. They want better cooperation with us, a more competitive, comprehensive trade deal. Okay, we have a large agno Swordish minority. Okay. All right. In addition, a relaxed immigration policy was one of Agnolia's main requests, which is unacceptable. Most of the migrants in our country haven't even assimilated into Swordish culture. Adding more won't help. I'm skeptical about relaxed immigration. You should be. We have witnessed several societies shifting waves of migration. We should remember that we promised to tighten our immigration laws in the election campaign. What's the latest situation in Welland? Okay, so Welland is basically Iraq. Um, so Welland, officially the Republic of Welland, it is governed by the Nationalist Party of Nutrist Socialism. That doesn't sound at all like anything. Let's see here. So Victor Smolak is based. I think he's mostly based on Saddam Hussein. He is like the uh, epitome of a. Uh, he's the epitome of a third world despot, but you can very easily get him to give you concessions so you can take over his country's energy industry. Okay, let's see here. Despite purging the communists, reports indicate that they've been warming up to Contana international aid. As you know, well, wetland stability was always a concern for the region. So that's kind of what happened with Saddam Hussein. Is he initially purged the communists when he came to power, but over time, Iraq had good relations with the Soviet Union. One of the interesting things about the Iran Iraq War was that Iraq was backed by both America and the Soviet Union, whereas Iran, I don't think, had any backers whatsoever. Okay. But if we want to help them, we must not treat refugees like we did in the 30s. I cannot stomach the inhumanity those people suffered. Uh, a trade agreement with them would improve stability and increase mutual trade. There would be many bargaining chips discussed, but Wayland could be a partner in the region. We would also invest in stability there. Our main goal should be to avoid a refugee crisis like the late 1920s. The Civil War had major security and economic repercussions on Sordis soil. One of the demands of President Smolak was to tighten our immigration laws so the political refugees don't escape to Swordland. There has been a recent purge that pushed many bloodish to free to Bergia. It's definitely troubling. So much as with Turkey and Iraq, the Bloods occupy the border on both sides of the border. So both sides have to deal with separatists, Kurdish separatists, basically. Okay, I'm sure you remember that winter at the border outpost, Mr. President. Okay, it is in our national interest to prevent the formation of a failed state on our western border. Wilhelm has increasingly aligned itself towards the Communist Alliance, another aspect to consider. I want to know more about Valgsland. Um, our cousins of old across the Marquian Sea wish to have a good relations with us. As we know, Valgsland is a socialist republic allied with United Contana. They are an important regional player. They are the most significant sea power. They are definitely not based in the United Kingdom. They kind of remind me of the Union of Britain in Kaiserreich. From my understanding, they're a fairly moderate socialist republic. They're like a socialist. they're a socialist republic, but they aren't like particularly brutal compared to Kantana and some of the more Trotskyist states. Let's see here. So the thing is, I can't have good relations with them because I want to join the ATO later on. And if you sign a trade agreement with them, the ATO asks, Arcasia asks way more out of you. Okay, let's see here. Okay, rise diplomatically. Recently, they have joined the Kantana Security Pact, subjugating themselves to United Kantana. There's a territorial dispute flaring up between Agnolia and Vogsland because of the Hedgeland Island. So it's an island in the middle of the in between the two of them. I think that it's supposed to be basically Cyprus. Let's see here. Okay, Lesbisia and Rurenberg. Our southern neighbor is aligning itself more and more with Arkesia. Lesbia is currently led by Prime Minister Alvarez. He is a massive douche monkey. We are not going to ally with him because to align with him, I have to do a whole bunch of other stuff that I don't want to do. The Kingdom of Rizia is going to be the next, the DLC. So there is another campaign that's coming out, and it's going to be the Kingdom of Rizia. Okay, they're the jewel of the continent and the second largest economy in Mercopa. Let's see here. Excessive economic inequality. Let's see here. Allying with the richest regional nation could be beneficial. It could be, but it would also draw closer to Arkesia bloc and near the Arkesan Treaty Organization. Let's see here. They've shown a selfish attitude during the Welland Civil War by closing their borders and funneling refugees to cross into Swordland. Yeah, that sounds like them, all right. 1 second, I'm just going to take a look to see if the streaming is working on the other platforms. Okay, looks like that's going okay. Let me just double check if Twitch is working. I do actually have a Twitch account. I just haven't used it in a long time, but I doubt anyone will actually watch on Twitch, but I might as well stream on there as well, because why not? Okay. The capital of Lesbia is inspirational. Okay, there are hundreds of very privileged oligarchs. Okay. What's the situation with Rumberg? Now to the most troublesome nation, Rumberg, a constitutional monarchy led by Beatrice Livingston, who's very brown for someone who's named Beatrice Livingston. So it's a constitutional monarchy, but it's in practice an absolute monarchy. The threat is real. They are strong and have the motivation as well as the means to damage us. We shouldn't give them any reasons to pursue aggression. I'll take your advice into consideration. These types of nations will always try to make up a casus belli, a reason to declare war. Let's see here. Okay. Okay. So they're attempting to escalate it. We're going to try to avoid escalation as much as possible to try to get sympathy from the international arena. Also, there's really no reason to, once again, should you really be saber rattling against a neighboring country that's significantly stronger than you? I think not. Peter arrived late. He looked a little rougher than usual. It must have been the drinking from last night. Excuse my delay. I hope I didn't miss anything important. You were supposed to be here an hour ago. They have a point, Peter. We should have discipline in the cabinet. Excuse me, it won't happen again. So basically, he got drunk and probably fucked some waitress, so he's late. Let's see here. So they withdrew their consulate from. They withdrew their consul, and they are trying to get the diplomatic staff to leave. Their concerns could be genuine, but the reaction is unnecessary. Okay. Okay, so it was only a consulate. The capital is the main eh, the embassy is still open. Okay, so that's good. They haven't completely withdrawn. They just closed one of multiple ones. Most countries will have multiple consulates in other major countries. Like I think America has multiple ones in Canada, unless I'm wrong. And like I'm sure Russia has multiple ones in Kazakhstan or something like that. One sec, I just have to run to the bathroom and then we'll continue. Okay, they are bluffing. This is far more serious. They're playing with fire. Okay, stabilization, annexation of Dom. Okay. Um, I'm gonna just make a diplomatic response condemning the act. They're trying to destabilize the region. Once again, we don't want to escalate things. Okay, I wish we'd reacted more strongly. If we don't confront them, they will keep escalating the situation. Peter's happy we're being cautious. Kingdom of Rizia. Okay. Your father was a great man. May he rest in peace. Yeah, David's father was the first president um, who got killed. Okay, so we're going to make an investment with Rizia later. Um, okay. Sorry, I'm just skipping through this. Okay, Miss President Alfonso. Okay, so I'm going to make a deal with the Kingdom of Rizia. Let's discuss the deal potential. What's on the table? Okay. We'll cover this a bit more later. We're gonna go through all this stuff again. So we'll deal with that when we go do it again. Okay. Diplomacy is the way 99% of the time. From our diplomatic channels, we can tell. Okay. Okay. So. Okay. Okay. All right. We'll deal with this later on. Okay. Let's talk about the. You know what? I think we'll continue this next time. I'm kind of getting tired. We've been doing this for like an hour and a half, so I think I'm gonna end it here. If people want, I will continue on this playthrough. I'm having quite a bit of fun. It's just there's a lot of dialogue, and I can only kind of do this for so long at a time. So I hope people are enjoying it. We still haven't gotten to the actual budget yet. We're still in like the prologue of the game. Like I said, this thing is pretty long, especially when you're having to read it out loud. So God bless everybody. Have a